Hey guys, welcome to my final TBR of the year. I picked a lot of books for my TBR pile for December because there are just some books that I really wanted to get to before the end of this year. There are some books that are just calling to me. Yeah, there's a lot here. I may not get to all of these. The point with my TBR is not to pressure myself. It is just to kind of like hone down books that I'm kind of excited about right now. And yeah, maybe I'm excited about too many books. I am doing a number of different reading challenges, a couple buddy read type things. I've got a few things going on here, and I'll just start sharing all the books, I guess. Okay, so we're just gonna start at the top of the stack and work our way down. The sun kind of keeps getting brighter and brighter. Not sure what's going on here. So in my last bookish newsletter that I sent out, I said I wanted to do a buddy read in the month of December, and I gave two options, a Miss Marple short stories collection and Agnes Gray by Anne Bronte, and Agnes Gray won the poll. So I am going to be reading this book in the first half of the month, and then having a buddy read discussion on it afterwards. I actually don't know anything about this. This is one of the books on my classics I want to read before I die list, which I have not sent out to my newsletter subscribers yet. I need to finish compiling that, and then it will be going out in my next newsletter. Yeah, I don't really know anything about this. Agnes Gray is the youngest daughter of a clergyman. Oh yes, she becomes a governess. I think the Brontes took a lot of inspiration from their times as governesses, those that were. I don't know much about it. It's super short. I have not quite figured out the formatting of the buddy read. So your best option, if you want to be reading this along with me, is make sure that you are able to see the community tab here on YouTube. So if you're like on your phone, when you see your subscriptions and see the new things, it will show up in there. Otherwise, you can go right to my channel and there's like a community tab at the top. And I'm also going to give the details in my newsletter as well once I have them figured out. So this is a book that I will actually definitely be reading in December. The rest of them are pretty much just possibilities. I decided, since, you know, like last month of the year, I should join in on the Buzzword challenge, readathon, whatever that is called, the Buzzwordathon, whatever it is. So for December, it's like a day/week/season, and I'm not really sure if this counts. She seems to hold her challenge as loosely as I hold my Read Your Bookshelf challenge, so you can just make things work for you. So for the date thing, I decided to pick up Until Tomorrow, Mr. Marsworth. This is one of the books that I have on my stack that I want to read before May, that I shared in my like TBR clean out part 1 video. This is a book written in letters. I think it's, yeah, to and from this girl named Rennie, I think is her name. She writes to this guy named Mr. Marsworth. She's the paper boy, and I'm not sure what all ensues. I think this takes place shortly after the Vietnam War or so. I've heard mostly good things about this. Okay, so like going off my TBR shelf, just picking up books that seem interesting to me. I have this one, Vanishing Girls by Lisa Reagan. This is a Josie Quinn something series. I can't tell, there's a sticker. Thriller? Is that what it says? I think thriller. I have seen books in this series elsewhere, and so I would really like to know if this is actually something that I enjoy. Will I want to continue this? Should I pick up other books? I don't know. I don't know if you have to read it in order. I hope not, because I don't think this is book 1. All I know is she was close enough to see that the girl had written a word on the wall in bright red, warm red blood. Not a word, actually, a name. And so a girl goes missing, and I don't know. But I've been quite enjoying thrillers lately, so hopefully this is good. I just bought this one a while ago because it was cheap, so I don't really have a whole lot of expectations going into this one. Continuing with books off of my TBR shelf, I'm gonna pick up another Bachman finally. My grandmother sends her regards and apologizes. I don't really know what this one is about. I have liked 2 Bachman books, and one of them was And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer, which I feel maybe it's just because the title is incredibly long. Also, there's another title for this, something about my grandmother something and says I'm sorry or something. But I think they kind of have similar vibes. It might just be the title. So I have high hopes for this one. It says, to most people, 7-year-old Elsa's granny is eccentric, if not crazy. To Elsa, she's a superhero with one superpower like no other: storytelling. So I'm gonna give this one a try. Then I was looking at my list of classic books that I want to read, and I found a nice little short one that I'm really excited to try. This is The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. I think that The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware was kind of inspired by this one, and that book was intriguing to me. It wasn't like a perfect book, but I'm curious to see the original inspiration. Plus it's 144 pages, so this seems like a really easy one to check off of my list of classics I want to read before I die. So we're gonna check that one off. Next up is The Shattered Castle. This is the currently final book in the Ascendance trilogy, even though it's on to 5 books already. I have read 3 of the books currently, hoping to finish or even start book 4 this month and then continue it. It is like a YA series. I don't even know, like, what is the genre? I know I've said this before and someone told me, yeah, it feels like medieval-esque. It's about I don't know, originally the first story we followed a bunch of boys who are trained to take the place of this prince who's disappeared or was killed or something, and yeah, and then it just continues, and I don't know, the trilogy was good. Now I'm curious to see where it goes, considering it's added a couple books onto it. And then a book that was recommended to me actually a few different times when I've talked about how I've been enjoying like just wanting to live in the English countryside, really. And then also in my classics list, this was recommended, is 84 Charring Crossroad by Helene Hanff. This is written in letters, and I don't know, is this like a true story? Yes, I think this is actually a true story. So I think it is. It says it all began with a letter inquiring about second-hand books and posted to a bookshop in London, and then they're returned. It sounds a little bit like Guernsey literary-esque, so curious about this one. Then this book won the Christie Award for, I might have just won the overall, whatever the overall award, plus a new author award, I think. This is The Edge of Belonging by Amanda Cox. Now this one sounds really interesting to me. It is dual timeline, which is often not my thing, but I can get past that. Our present day person is Ivy Rose. She is going to her hometown after her grandmother dies, and she was adopted, and she finds clues to her past. And then we also are back in time 24 years earlier when a guy comes across an abandoned newborn, which I'm assuming is Ivy. And yeah, I'm curious. It's kind of almost has like Jamie Jo Wright vibes. I think it's just maybe the dual timeline to me. Plus the cover kind of has those vibes. Yeah, so I'm really curious about this. I feel like it might go either way. It could be like really good or really not. So we'll see. I'm going to have a library haul up. I think that'll be my next video. I picked up Hannah's Hope by Karen Kingsbury. I don't know if these have to go in order, but this is part of her Red Glove series, and I read Gideon's Gift last year, and then there's Hannah's Hope, and they're all like alliterations. I can't see if there's actually a list of what they're all called. No, so I don't know anything about it, but Gideon's Gift was a tearjerker, and I thought I would maybe try to read one. Man, this lighting. Read one book in the series each Christmas, each December for the next few years. I think there's 4 of them. So just going to continue on with this one. Then I'm going to continue the Patrick Bowers series. This is book 2, The Rook. I hear that this book is better than book 1. I found book 1 to be a little bit intense. Yeah, let's use the word intense. It is a thriller mystery series where we are following this guy. I never know what he is exactly. He's a special agent. He's like FBI, but like a special one. And there is a serial killer, and yeah. So I will try book 2, and then after this book I'm going to decide, I think, if I'm continuing the series or not. Or maybe I will just kind of keep reading each book and then decide. I'm not sure how this is going to go. Then I have 2 books that are also off of my stack of books I need to decide by May. I just threw a bunch of them on here because I want to get going on these. This one is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Now, I hear that this might be the best V.E. Schwab book/series out there, so I have like decently high expectations. I haven't really liked a ton of, and I've pretty much only liked her middle grade City of Ghosts. Like, I've only read the first book, so like series, but really the first book in the series. But I've heard good things about this. This one is Victor and Eli started out as college roommates, brilliant, arrogant, lonely boys who recognized the same sharpness and ambition in each other. Then they shared research interest in adrenaline, near-death experiences, and seemingly supernatural events. Reveals an intriguing possibility that under the right conditions, someone could develop extraordinary abilities. So, we'll see. This might be the end of my V.E. Schwab career, reading career, other than maybe like her City of Ghosts series. Okay, and I'm doing it. So many people love this book, and I don't know why I have been actively avoiding it. That is The 13th Tale. I think maybe on the comments, one person said they didn't like it. Yes, one said they preferred The River. But other than that, there was like half a dozen comments at least of people talking about how much they liked this book. So I have to give it a try. I really don't know what it is. Oh, it's something about a book of tales, children's fairy tale kind of thing, I think. And then the 13th tale is maybe missing or something. I don't know. I'm curious though, because so many people think I will really like this one, which scares me because often that can be disappointing. But I am going to try it, and we will see if you guys are right or if I was scared for a reason. Then the Read Your Bookshelf challenge for December is to read a book with a winter scene on the cover, I think. I'm in the middle right now of creating next year's Read Your Bookshelf challenge, so if you have prompt ideas, leave them in the comments below. I'm trying to get a bunch of ideas. I try to stick with things that are not genre specific and try to keep things broad so people that like any kind of book can join in. Anyway, I've got One by One by Ruth Ware. I still have only read the Turn of the Key, and I think I have 2 more of hers on my shelf. So I want to start plugging away with them, and this seemed like the perfect one for December. We've got lots of snow here already, and I'm sure we will get more, so I'm going to give this one a try. I actually don't know what this one is. Getting snowed in at a luxurious rustic ski chalet high in the French Alps doesn't sound like the worst problem in the world. But unless the company happens to be 8 co-workers, each with something to gain, something to lose, and something to hide. Okay, we'll give that one a try. Then I thought I need to finally read this book. This is Shirley Jackson's Let Me Tell You. This is this is a collection of new stories, essays, and other writings. So it's just an assortment of different things I think that her kids published fairly recently. This is kind of maybe the kind of book that will take me a few months. I'll start it in December and just continue it. I was just gonna see if there's like a table of contents anywhere. Oh yeah, right. So there's also a bunch of illustrations. Interesting. So there's different sections. Sudden and unusual things that have happened. Unpublished and uncollected short fiction. I would rather write than do anything else. Those are essays and reviews. When this war is over, early short stories. Somehow things haven't turned out quite the way we expected. Humor and family. I'd like to see you get out of that sentence. Lectures about the craft of writing. Okay, so I'm curious. Yeah, trying to read and collect all her books. So even the ones that she didn't actually publish. That's kind of exciting. I just cannot film a video without books just flying everywhere. Okay, my last book for the TBR is Oathbringer. This is the 3rd book in the Stormlight Archive. I will not be finishing this book in December. I have been avoiding this book. My plan was to read it in October and then November and now December. Actually, it was even before that. I think I was supposed to read it in like July or August already. I am enjoying the series by Brandon Sanderson. It just is taking a while. And I'm not good at reading books over a long period of time. I'm trying to learn to do this. I would rather just like wrap up a book within a month or a week. But I need to do some strategizing when it comes to the Stormlight Archive, because I can't just read this book, I have to be reading other books. But then when I read other books, I prioritize those books over this. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do this on audio or the physical book. I think I have the audio book. If not, I might buy it. But I might do a combination. And I was thinking maybe, you know, I try to read like 50 pages a day, or maybe on Tuesdays I read 100 pages or something random, like such something that I'm continuing to plug away at this while still being able to read other books, so I'm not just completely overwhelmed. Yeah, so I don't know, this is Sanderson's high fantasy, most involved series and world, and there's 4 books out so far. This is book 3, and then there's a book in between. I don't know what he calls those, but it's like it would be a 3.5. I can't remember what that one is called. I'll try to read that one yet too. Definitely not my favorite books of his, but still like enjoying it and want to read it. Just need to stop dragging my feet. Okay, there you have it. I think that's my TBR for December. Who knows? I'm okay if I just like DNF a bunch of these books. I'm okay if I don't even start some of them. I'm okay if some of them take me months. These are the books that are kind of like currently really piquing my interest and also helping me plug away with some of my books off my TBR shelf and my shelf of things that I want to get rid of by May, and some library books and some different book challenges, and yeah, it's a bunch. We will see how the month turns out when I share my final wrap up. Yeah, so let me know, what are you guys reading in December? Are you guys like all into Christmas books? I read a few last year, and for the most part Christmas books aren't for me, but I've got one in here, so go Christmas stories. Yeah, let me know what you plan on reading in December.